So there's a new rumor going around the internet that apparently we're going to be getting Call of Duty World War II on the Nintendo Switch. And honestly, in my opinion, that would actually be really great. Just because then you would have two versions for the price of one. You would have a handheld version of the game, and then you would have a console version of the game where you can play on your big screen. Now, if you didn't know, this is actually not the first time that Call of Duty has been on handheld. Back when the PS Vita was relevant, Call of Duty was actually on the PS Vita. It wasn't a mainline series game, and it wasn't a really big game. It was actually a really crappy version of Call of Duty. So if we were able to get a mainstream Call of Duty World War II game on the Switch, it would actually be the first time we're getting a main Call of Duty in handheld form, and that actually would be flat out fantastic. Sure, you can also take your laptop on the go if you really wanted to play Call of Duty, but I wouldn't say that's really portable-esque, just due to the fact that that's really chunky, that's really big. It's not the same thing as the Nintendo Switch. Nintendo Switch is a true handheld on the go, and it does have HD graphics, whereas the PS Vita never had HD graphics. So just to be able to play Call of Duty World War II on the go, if you finally get it, would be flat out fantastic. Hopefully, the company who is producing Call of Duty World War II doesn't give Nintendo Switch a watered down version of the game, because it always seems like Nintendo consoles always get watered versions down of a game. It's always watered down. We don't get the same versions that the other consoles get. It's kind of like Nintendo is the third wheel when it comes to third-party support. I am not a fan of that at all. Also, this rumor could be true. Just if you look in the past, Call of Duty is no stranger to Nintendo. The Wii, the DS, and the Wii U all had Call of Duty titles, so I can see that actually becoming a thing where we get it. Also, if you think about Activision, I hope they don't make this watered down, because if they make this thing watered down, they might look at the sales and say, oh, the sales are bad of this game. Let's not make another one on the Nintendo Switch or Nintendo platform. Let's just kill it off. And honestly, if you're going to make it watered down, I would suggest don't make it at all, because when Activision and the company who's making Call of Duty World War II sees the numbers and they're low, you did that yourself. You basically made the numbers low because you made a watered down port of the game that are on the other current gen consoles. That's not fair to say that it sold bad. Of course it's going to sell bad if you make a watered down port, but that's the problem though. When they make a watered down port and they sell it and they look at the sales figures, they'll discontinue it, and it wasn't even our fault. Of course fans are going to buy a watered down port if you can buy it on PS4, Xbox One, PC with a better version of the game altogether. I really hope they don't make some kind of watered down port of the game. Honestly, also, even if we do get the full-fledged version of Call of Duty World War II on the Nintendo Switch, it'll also come down to Nintendo's online service. We know nothing about Nintendo's online service. Hopefully, we'll get the same features as like a PlayStation or an Xbox. We'll get like voice chatting. We'll get we can send game invites and things like that. Because if we don't get those main staple online features, then Call of Duty World War II won't sell well, because people are like, well, it's a good game, but we don't have the best online experience we can have. We're missing a lot of features that are staples on Sony platforms and on Microsoft platform. Let's not buy the Switch version. Let's buy a version where we can chat with our friends, we can send game invites, and do everything online. And the Switch doesn't have a good online infrastructure and good online features. Let's not buy the Switch version at all. So I hope Nintendo does deliver that as well, because if they do not, this will be a make it or break it, whether even if it is a full-fledged version the other games are going to be. Also, think about it this way as well. Nintendo is kind of to blame for it becoming watered down, if it does become watered down, like some of the other versions, just for the fact that Nintendo is always known since the Wii that the consoles are not a powerhouse. They don't want them to be a powerhouse. They say graphics do not matter. And that is kind of a shame from Nintendo's aspect. If it was the latest and greatest hardware and it was a powerhouse of a system, then we would be getting full-fledged versions of game. That's kind of the reason why we don't get full-fledged third-party support, just because they have to shoehorn them in with different specs and different power, because they don't have the same specs as the other current gen consoles. So that's why sometimes we do get watered down ports of video games. Hopefully, also, Nintendo fans will support the game as well. That is one thing Nintendo fans do have a problem with, I will admit. A lot of Nintendo fans say, oh, I want third-party support on my Nintendo platform. Let's get these games out. And once the games finally come out, sales figures show that Nintendo's fans aren't buying third-party games. Third-party games don't sell well on Nintendo platforms. I'm not to say that all of them don't sell well, but majority of them don't sell well because fans just go ahead and go over to PlayStation or Xbox and buy their third-party games. So come on, Nintendo fans, if you want more third-party games and you want to show the developer that the games are actually worth buying and worth making, let's go ahead and actually buy the game so that the sales figures will show that we deserve third-party games as well. Of course, if this comes out and it's a watered-down version of the other versions, I can't really complain. I understand why people won't buy it. There's no point of actually buying it if it is watered down. And this, you gotta have the game on the go. If you don't gotta have the game on the go and it's watered down, then I can see it, and I can't really make the complaint, well, why aren't you buying third-party games on Switch? Well, it's Activision's publishing fault and the company who's making Call of Duty World War II, who's actually not making a full-fledged game. We're getting a watered-down version of the game compared to the other consoles, so I'm going to go there. So then you have to blame the company who's actually making the game. I'm sure even if the Switch is not as graphically powered as the Xbox One or the PS4, I'm sure this thing could have all the bells and whistles just like those versions. There's no reason they should be cutting out features, whether there's a zombie mode or just whatever mode they're really going to have in the game. Hopefully they will deliver on it. Hopefully this is real, and honestly I can see this being real because Nintendo has had a history with the Call of Duty series. Anyway, guys, peace out. I'll see you guys later in my next video. I'm out, guys.